Hello, this is a quick tutorial on how to create a test in Blackboard. Similar to other applications, there are several different ways to do the same thing, so I'm just going to show you two most popular ways to create a test from scratch in Blackboard. So I've created a button, a content area button called Assessments, and within that, that's where I would have all my students take their tests online. So I could do one of two things. I could either go to the control panel, go to Course Tools, and then down to Test Surveys and Pools, because tests are created in kind of a behind-the-scenes location, right? So I could do that and start my test process from there, or from this content area, I can click Assessments and choose Tests. Let's try that way. I just want to mention creating tests and surveys is the same process. The only difference is when you first start that, for example, under Assessments, instead of choosing Tests, I would choose Surveys, or from this content area, when I go to Test Surveys and Pools, there's a link for each of those. Instead of choosing Tests, I would choose Surveys. But the rest of the process is the same. So this is telling me that I have one test already created that has not been deployed, meaning, as I mentioned before, tests are created in the behind-the-scenes location, and then you have to do a second step, which is called the deployment step, which creates a link that makes the test available to students. Okay, so this is telling me that I have one test that has not been deployed. If I have other tests in the course, but they've all been deployed, they won't show in this list because I can only deploy them one time within a course. Right, but I want to create from scratch. So I'm just going to click Create. All right, so I've just given it a title of the first test. And as a note to yourself, the first test that you offer, if possible, just make it a very low stakes, kind of fun questions kind of test, just to give the students a chance to use the test tool in a low stakes manner without, the stress of the high content area. So I've given it a title, given it a description, and given some instructions. Then I just click Submit, and that brings us to the test canvas, which is where we actually create the questions. Okay, test canvas. Before we create the questions, though, I want to mention this question settings. And notice in the tutorial in the online Blackboard class, I provided a link with a much more lengthy description of what the question settings is about, but we'll just take a quick look. Question settings give you some options that relate to the questions that you will be creating. Okay, so you can provide feedback for individual answers. If you check this, then after every question there'll be a text box kind of inserted so that you can provide feedback. You could, if it was a test that you needed to add images or files or web links, this will give you the tools that you need to be able to do that. This is metadata, which you don't have to think about very much right now. Scoring, by default, every question is going to be worth 10 points, but you could either change that now, or you can always change it once you've got all your questions created. It's very easy to change in that at that point, and I can show you how to do that as well. Or you could change the default point setting here. Partial credit or extra credit or negative credit, you can specify that here. And again, this doesn't mean that you have to do it, but it will give you the option when you're creating your test to offer these different scoring options. All right, and again, for display, random ordering of answers, whether you want multiple choice answers to be listed horizontally or vertically, and whether you want the answers to be ordered by one, numerically or alphabetically, A, B, C, like that. So that's what question settings. And again, click the link in the course, the online course, to be able to get more explanation of what this all means. Okay, so let's begin creating questions. So under Create Questions, you can see there are many different types of questions you can create. So we're just going to choose multiple choice right now. within this multiple choice question, there's a question title which you don't have to worry about. You could just, say multiple choice, and then the questions, your question will follow, but you can leave that blank. So this text box is where you enter your question. Below we have some options here. Do I want the answers to be listed numerically or, by letters, whatever? I'm just going to choose lowercase letters. I want them to be shown vertically. I'm not going to bother with partial credit or showing answers in a random order. All right, so let me just enter my question and answer. All right, so I have my question. I'm scrolling down. I have all of my answers, one in each text box. And notice the radio buttons on the left side. Make sure that the correct answer has the radio button for that answer is selected. Okay. And then you can provide feedback, correct feedback or incorrect feedback if you want to. And then instructor notes are just notes for yourself as the instructor. The students won't see this at all. If you wanted to keep track of your thoughts about this particular question, for example, you can just put that in the instructor notes, and that's just for your information. Then I could, if I decided I didn't like this question at all, I can just cancel it. Submit and create another means it will submit this question for creation and create another. It will open up another window for another multiple choice question. If I decide I want a different kind of question next, I can just click submit. It brings me back to the test canvas, and then I can choose a different type of question. All right, because I had the radio button next to Blackboard selected, it's showing that that's the correct answer. That's how that works. Okay. So next I could either use these plus signs to grab another kind of question, or I could go back up to create question and choose from there. Either one is fine. So I'll just choose this one, and let's try it true false this time. Alright, so I've created my true and false question, and I just wanted to show you what the benefit of these plus signs is say I wanted a question to appear between these two questions now. If I just click the plus sign here, it will just insert the question in between those. In times past, that was not the case in Blackboard. You had to kind of drag them back and forth to where you wanted them if you didn't create them in order. So that's kind of a nice benefit. So let's just add one more question. We'll try, just for the sake of ease, we'll do another multiple choice question. All right, I've created my last question, but I've noticed that I chose the wrong correct answer to be correct. So I need to edit this question. So I just wanted to show you how to do that. So you'll just see click the arrow next to the name of this question, and choose edit, and it brings you right back to that the page where you created the question. Okay, so I actually want this to be the correct answer, so I need to click that radio button. Okay, and then just click submit. So now you can see that we have the correct answer chosen. All right, so that's how to create a simple test in Blackboard. Oh, let's look at the point value. Say I just wanted each question to be worth 2 points instead of 10 points. Okay, you can do it all very quickly by clicking under select. Click select all, so that puts a check mark next to all of your questions. And next to points, I'm just going to put 2 because I want them to be worth 2 points each, and click update. And notice that the points will then change to display 2 points apiece. Okay, and then at the top as well, it tells you that the total points is now just 6 points. All right, so that's how to create a quick test in Blackboard. There are many other options about how to create a test. You could create a random block, create a test from a test pool. You can import questions from a Word document, many different ways to do it, but this will just get you started, and if you are interested in those other options, just contact the Teaching Learning Center. So if you remember, I mentioned that there are 2 steps to creating a test. First, creating the actual test, which is a behind-the-scenes job, and then deploying the test for student access. So please watch the next video to learn how to deploy the test for student access. Thank you.